Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamunatira Nachare Yamunatira Nachare Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihare Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihare Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachare Yamunatira Vanachare Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihare Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Jai Om Vishnu Paraparamhamsa Pri Vrajakacharya Stotra Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnu Paraparamhamsa Pri Vrajakacharya Stotra Shri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada Ki Jai. Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Shri Sri Goswami Ki Jai. Prem se Gaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Shri Mayapur Dham Ki Jai. Shri Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Yamuna Maya Ki Jai. Ganga Maya Ki Jai. Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Yagya Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Giridhari Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Today we're reading from Canto number 7, chapter 15, text 77. Na yasya sakshat bhava padmajadibihi rupam dhiya vastutaya payavarnitam manena bhaktya pashamena pujitaha prasidatam esha sa sattvatam patihi na yasya sakshat bhava padmajadibhi rupam diya vastutaya pavarnitam manena bhaktya pashamena pujitaha prasidatam eva sattvatam patihi na yasya sakshat bhava padmajadibhi rupam diya vastutaya pavarnitam manena bhaktya pashamena pujita prasidatam esha sattvatam patihi na yasya sakshat bhava padmajadibhi rupam diya vastutaya pavarnitam manena bhaktya pashamena pujita prasidatam esha sattvatam patihi. Please chant. Sakshat Bhava Padmajadi. Svatampati. Rupam Diyavastitaya Pavarlitam Anena Bhaktya Pashanena Pujita. Anyone else would like to chant? Anyone online would like to chant? Not today. Okay, we'll proceed. Na, not, yasya, of whom? Lord Shri Krishna. Sakshat, directly. Bhava, bhava, by Lord Śiva. Padma Jadibihi, Lord Brahmā and others. Rupam, the form. Diya, by meditation. Vastutaya, factually. Upavarnitam, could be explained. Manena, by silence. Bhaktya, by devotional service. Upashamena, by finishing all material activities. Pujitaha, one who is so worshipped. Pasidatam, may be pleased with us. Eshaha, this. Saha, the same personality of Godhead. Sattvatam, of the devotees. Patihi, who is the maintainer, master, and guide. Translation and the purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Present here now is the same personality of Godhead, whose true form cannot be understood, even by such great personalities as Lord Brahmā and Lord Śiva. He is realized by devotees because of their unflinching surrender. May that same personality of Godhead, who is the maintainer of His devotees, and who is worshipped by silence, by devotional service, and by cessation of material activities, be pleased with us. Purport. Lord Krishna is not properly understood even by such exalted personalities as Lord Śiva and Lord Brahmā, what to speak of ordinary man. But by His causeless mercy, He bestows the benediction of devotion upon His devotees, who can thus understand Krishna as He is. Bhaktya mama bijanati yavan yaschasmi tattvataha. No one within this universe can understand Krishna in truth. But if one engages in devotional service, one can understand Him perfectly well. This is also confirmed by the Lord in the 7th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, 7.1. Maya saktamana partha yogam yunjan madashraya asamshayam samagram mam yatta jasya sitatrinu. Now here Asanapita or Arjuna, how by practicing yoga in full consciousness of me, with mind attached to me, you can know me in full, free from doubt. Lord Krishna Himself teaches how one can understand Him perfectly well without a doubt. Not only the Pandavas, but everyone who sincerely accepts the instructions of Krishna can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead as He is. After instructing Yudhishthira Maharaj, Narada Muni prays for the Lord's blessings that he be pleased with everyone, and that everyone become perfect in God consciousness and return home back to Godhead. Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshuran Militamina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Putale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vanchakopatrubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnu Parai Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvichesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Adesha Tarine. Hare Krishna. I haven't given a class for a while, and I hope I still know how to do it. I'm a little rusty, so I'm seeking for your good wishes today. So I'll read the translation one more time. Present here now is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose true form cannot be understood, even by such great personalities as Lord Brahmā and Lord Śiva. He is realized by devotees because of their unflinching surrender. May that same personality of Godhead, who is the maintainer of his devotees, and who is worshipped by silence, by devotional service, and by cessation of material activities, be pleased with us. I find it very, very instructive to myself that we see Narada Muni is speaking in such a way that he always wants to glorify devotees and wish them well. I think this is a really amazing attitude of someone who wants to, or aspires to be a devotee. And in this chapter, we've covered a lot. This is concluding chapter of this 7th canto, chapter 15. There's going to be a couple more verses and we'll be done. And just to summarize shortly, in the beginning we spoke about rules of Vedic rituals and how to transcend them. And there's also was a mention of 5 different types of irreligion: concocted religion, and pretentious, cheating religion, dharma, prajitakaitava, traparamo, nirmatsaranam satam. This is in the 1st canto of Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is actually free from any materially motivated religion and propounds the highest truth. So we're very fortunate to read Srimad Bhagavatam to understand the real truth about Kṛṣṇa, about God. And then also, leading to that, there was also mention of different anarthas that we have within ourselves. And anarthas means something unwanted, the obstacles that we find within ourselves in the course of spiritual practice. And then, if we have anarthas, it's an obstacle for progress. So we need a guru who can help us, engage us in bhajana kriya, and give us an opportunity to get free from the anarthas. And Srila Prabhupada was actually saying that if you are sincere, a devotee, and if you're practicing, doesn't matter what stage you're in, Kanishta Adhikari, Madhyama Adhikari, Uttama Adhikari, you're still a pure devotee. Comparing it to a mango, which is going to be ripening. And I'll say something about the obstacles, anarthas. In the Madhuri Kadambini, I was recently watching a seminar. His Grace Balaram Prabhu encouraged me to do so. So there's 4 different types of obstacles that we find. First one is dushkritatha, obstacles born of past sinful acts. It could be ignorance, false ego, aversion, or absorption in worldly sense objects. But also there's an obstacle born of pious activities, which is kind of surprising, how pious activities can be an obstacle. But that led us to desire for liberation, and also heavenly enjoyment, things of that nature. And the 3rd type is obstacle born of imperfectly performed bhakti, which is labha puja patishta, worship of ourselves and desire for adoration, worldly gain. So this is when the bhakti is performed imperfectly. And the 4th one is obstacles born of the aparadhas, offenses to the holy name. That's a very common obstacle. And what's very interesting is that when we begin bhajana kriya, devotional activities, the hearing and chanting, there's also 5 more obstacles being listed before we attain the state of nishtha, which is drowsiness, destruction, incompetence, and contaminated consciousness, and still taste. There's a remaining for taste, for mundane pleasure. And before that I mentioned contaminated consciousness, be affected by the modes of nature. So those are a few things to, we can say, look and notice within ourselves. But like this chapter is mentioning, that obstacles are removed in our spiritual life if we follow the instructions of a bona fide spiritual master. We were speaking about the importance of accepting initiation in the previous text as well, because Kṛṣṇa can become the director, and he sends the spiritual master to help us advance in spiritual life, to train us, to train the devotee. And Lord Chaitanya was also having a discussion with Srila Rupa Goswami, and he was mentioning how there's a need of Kṛṣṇa Guru Prasadapai Bhakti Lata Bija in order to start, get the devotional creeper, bhakti kripa within the heart. We need mercy of Guru and also a spiritual master. And in one of the commentaries to this chapter I was reading, and I found it very interesting, Srila Prabhupada explains in the commentaries that even a slight deviation from this understanding of Guru Tattva can create disaster in disciples' Vedic studies and austerities. So if we don't have proper understanding of Guru Tattva, of why we accept the spiritual master, what's our position, what's the position of the spiritual master, then it could be very, very problematic to our spiritual life. Even for those devotees who are initiated, there could also be some misunderstanding. For example, you can consider Guru to be the same as God. You can call him the same as God. Or you can just take him as a respectful personality, just a mundane person. But the spiritual master is Sevaka Bhagavan. He is serving Kṛṣṇa. And Kṛṣṇa, on the other hand, is a Sevya Bhagavan, so he's being worshipped. But we have understanding that the spiritual master is as good as Kṛṣṇa. So we also offer worship to him because he carries the mission of Kṛṣṇa within this material world, and he tries to instruct and give knowledge, which is obtained by scripture in association with sadhus. So spiritual master is not saying surrender to me, he's saying surrender to Kṛṣṇa. That's his position. He's always maintaining a position of a servant of his spiritual master and a representative of Kṛṣṇa. Every day we sing this important verse, Sakshat Dharitvina Samasta Shastra Yuktastatha Bhavyata Eva Sadhi Kintu Prabhoya Priya Eva Tasya Vande Guru Shri Chara Naravindam. Does anyone remember what the meaning of that verse is, besides Srila Prabhu? If anyone would like to speak into the mic. Sakshat Dharitvina Samasta Shastra. This is the verse that we sing in the Mangalarti prayers. Yeah. Guru Ashtakam.
I'll try. It means that like Guru is someone who is who knows Shastra, and like he's Sakshat Haridvina. He's like Kṛṣṇa to us.
Mm-hmm. He's acknowledged by the Shastra. The direct translation is the spiritual master is to be honored as much as the Supreme Lord, and he is most confidential servant of the Supreme Lord. And that's acknowledged by the Shastras and by all the devotees or sadhus. So thank you. And therefore we offer our obeisances to the spiritual master, who's a bona fide representative of Kṛṣṇa. And the duty of a bona fide guru is to connect the disciple with Kṛṣṇa. And if we see that spiritual master gives us Kṛṣṇa, and then from Kṛṣṇa we receive a spiritual master who is sincere, that's his mercy in this material world. Although we cannot estimate Kṛṣṇa to come down and directly, personally teach us the science of Bhakti Yoga and tell us everything. So therefore he comes through his representative. And Guru Tattva is actually manifested through our sincere desire to follow the instructions of spiritual master. For example, Srila Prabhupada's books are his greatest manifestation of his humility. And he was writing books on instruction because of the instruction of his spiritual master, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And one time, devotees were gathering together in the room, and Srila Prabhupada was listening to his own lectures. He would do that sometimes. He would listen to his own lectures. He would read his own purports. And at some point, he paused the lecture and he said, "So what do you think of this point?" He would ask his disciples, "What do you think of this point? What do you think of that point?" And then one disciple, he asked Srila Prabhupada, why do you listen to your own lectures? And Srila Prabhupada said, "Because I did not speak them." This is dictated by Kṛṣṇa. And it's also becomes very, very interesting when we prepare for a class or we go out preaching. We might sort our lecture out and we prepare paragraph by paragraph. But then it becomes very, very interesting when you just let it go and you start speaking from your heart, being of course by the mercy of Guru and Kṛṣṇa. It's spontaneous preaching. That's the most interesting thing. And on book distribution, it's a necessary skill to be developed. We go out and we meet people, and you have to be spontaneous, and you have to come up with things, by the mercy of again Kṛṣṇa and Guru. And of course, good sadhana and reading books, listening to classes is very helpful at that. But yeah, you can't really work by script on book distribution. I remember I was distributing at Chula Vista Costco. There's a Costco and a Walmart next to each other. And I met one person, and I just came up to him and I said, you look like you're thinking about something a lot. What's on your mind? And he said, you know what? And he started revealing his mind, his heart to me. He said, you know what? I'm 50 something, I don't remember exactly. My son is really young, he's in his 20s, and he just has a very severe damaged liver. He's like almost about to die. He's so horrible, and I'm just, for the past 2 or 3 weeks, this is the only thought that I had on my mind. I can't really focus on anything else. I'm just like a zombie. I'm just walking, but I'm thinking about is my son, is he going to leave? Is he going to die? And then I had a Science of Self-Realization, a hardcover book, and I showed it to him, and he said, "Oh, that's nice. I like to read. Maybe this will help him to think of something different." So yeah, he took that book, and immediately I thought that this is really an extraordinary circumstance, and I just prayed for the well-being of that person. I pointed out that at the end of SSR there's a mantra meditation practice, the guide, how to chant, so I also pointed out to him. So hopefully he starts chanting. And there's many examples like that you have to be a little spontaneous on book distribution. When speaking about initiation and relationship with spiritual master, there's a famous text in the 11th canto, Tasmad Guru Prapadyante, Jigdasushe Uttama, Shabde Parachanishnutam, Brahmanya Pasamashrayam. This text speaks about how it's important to take shelter of a spiritual master and inquire from him about the highest good, because spiritual master is speaking the conclusions of the Vedic teaching. Shabda Cha Pare is about the Supreme Lord, Chanishnitam, and those conclusions are coming from his heart because he's completely absorbed. Chanishnitam is completely absorbed in the Srimad Bhagavatam and the Bhagavad Gita. And Brahmanya Pasamashrayam, those conclusions, those words of a spiritual master, they actually help you to become fixed from this influence of material attachments, material enjoyment. So, yeah, like I said, Kṛṣṇa is not going to come personally speak this word, so we need association, we need a spiritual master. Another verse in this 11th canto, 3rd chapter, which is also really important about devotee association. Parasparanukathanam pavanam bhagavatyasha mithoratir mitashtushtir nivrittimit atmana. It says, one should learn how to associate with devotees of the Lord by gathering with them to chant the glories of the Lord. This process is most purifying. As devotees thus develop their love and friendship, they feel mutual happiness and satisfaction. And by thus encouraging one another, they are able to give up material sense gratification, which is the cause of all suffering. And in the purport, Srila Prabhupada the disciples of Srila Prabhupada are mentioning how one should learn to view the entire universe as the paraphernalia of the Lord's service. We know that verse, Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe, Yuktam Varagya Muchite, that everything should be utilized in Krishna's service. All this paraphernalia within this world should be utilized in Krishna's service. And then one should have no engagement other than chanting and hearing the glories of the Lord and carrying out his mission on earth. So when we come together with devotees, we chant the holy name. We also try to speak Krishna Katha and glorify Krishna in some way that we can. And of course, when we do that, we feel satisfied, mutually happy. And then we go on to explain and give this realizations that we obtain to others. Because if we want to really please Guru Parampara and our spiritual master, we should, whatever we realize within this practice, within the scripture, we should go on and teach someone. If we don't do that, it's a manifestation of ahankara, of false ego, if we just bottle up the philosophy and try to just practice by ourselves without giving the opportunity for others to hear. Devotees, we preach to the devotees, or preach to those who are sincere and those who are ready to hear the message of Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. So it's very important. That's how Guru Tattva is also, or Guru Parampara is also manifested in our preaching. And if we continue seeing what was also spoken in this chapter, as a famous chariot metaphor was discussed earlier, the senses, the body, the mind, intelligence, and the soul. Then Paneshwar Mataji gave a wonderful class on Pravritti and Nivritti Marg, was also mentioned. And Narada Muni spoke about the summary of occupational duties, Varna and Ashram. And now we hear in the description of the glories of the Pandavas, and this is the last, glorification verse in this chapter by Narada Muni. Like I mentioned in the beginning, he's wishing everyone his blessing, giving everyone his blessings. He's praying for everyone benefit to become perfect in God consciousness, to return home back to Godhead. I think this is the longest conversation that Narada Muni had with someone in the pages of Bhagavatam. This is what it seems like. So yeah, this is the final prayer, and I'll just mention one of the last points. This is mentioned here that by bhakti mama janati yavanyashchasmi tatvadha, Kṛṣṇa is understood. And when we practice devotional service, bhakti, when we endeavor to satisfy Kṛṣṇa in this way, we get his mercy, we attain his mercy. And that means that this is how we progress, Kṛṣṇa is revealing himself to us according to the degree of our surrender and desire. Everything is based not exactly on the practice itself, but on our desire and our choices that we make in spiritual life. So I thought that's an interesting point. And hearing about Kṛṣṇa Tatrinu is always ever fresh. Even if you speak on the same subject, there's always something that you can pick up, because Kṛṣṇa is Nava Yavanam, is always ever youthful, ever fresh. And Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur describes in Gitavali how Narada Muni, whenever he goes, he's always chanting the holy name of Radhika Raman. He's chanting Hare Kṛṣṇa, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And when he chants, he has so much devotion to Kṛṣṇa that there's like a monsoon of nectar that comes down on the heads of the devotees and enter their ears, and everyone becomes mad with the love of God, and devotees start dancing. It attracts even the company of Lord Brahmā and Śiva. Everyone together is dancing, chanting, feeling jubilant. That's a song. That's exactly the Narada Muni. And of course, advanced devotees like Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, they write songs like that to glorify Narada Muni and take shelter of his wonderful activities and instructions to us. And we can also do that by reading this chapter or other chapters in which Narada Muni appears. He appears quite often on the pages of Bhagavatam, in every canto. Bahunam janmanam ante, Kṛṣṇa says in the Bhagavad Gita, Jnanamam prapadyate, Vasudeva sarvamati mahatma sudurlabha. Kṛṣṇa, to understand Kṛṣṇa is really, really rare sometimes, and often it takes many, many, many births to properly situate yourself in knowledge of Kṛṣṇa. And you often see it like that when you go on preaching. Me and Avril, we were at ISKCON, distributing books, and we ran into one person. She was giving us a challenge. She was saying something like, if you convince me, if you if you convince me in these arguments that I have against your philosophy, then I'll take the books and I'll give you donation. And she was basically saying one of the main arguments is that Krishna, when he spoke Bhagavad Gita, why was he speaking in such a way that he was telling Arjuna to engage in violent activities? She was an Indian lady, yes. Yeah, that's the girl. So, why do you think violence sometimes is necessary to engage in spiritual life? maybe besides Sri Prabhu. Joseph?
Times were different then.
Time for a different thing.
Times were different.
Times were different then. Mm-hmm.
Krishna tried negotiating the other option. Krishna personally, but when nothing works,
Mm-hmm.
then because I think one of the negotiation failed, that was the option.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. That's a good reason.
Maybe the most important thing in life can be taught in the serious situations like that.
Mm-hmm. In the serious situations.
Yeah.
When you have to fight and exert yourself like that. It's not easy to make that decision, but
Yeah, like this is the point of being alive or being dead.
mm-hmm.
This is the peak point. What do you want?
Mm-hmm.
That time I think the mind is so fast to think something that I have to make a decision now. And this is the serious situation to make the serious or important decision in life. And this is where we think the most.
Is your point that the whole thing was arranged so that you would focus on the message of the Gita?
Yeah.
That's a different point.
Mm-hmm.
I guess he's asking a different question, which is why did Krishna tell Arjuna to fight his family members? And yours, I guess you're going a different direction, saying, well, we need this situation so we can have heightened attention for the Bhagavad Gita. I think that's
Which is kind of still related, I think. Thank you. And Gordon?
I was just listening to this. Srila Prabhupada said, when good arguments fail, violence is needed.
That's good. That's good. Yeah.
How do you convince her?
Couldn't hear you. Yeah,
Red mic is broken.
So you have to, first of all, look at the history. It was the Duryodhana and company who pushed everything. They were from the childhood. They were trying to kill him, so the violence was already there. And even though Yudhishthira was on the throne, they still conspired to, have the gambling match and cheat and take it away from him. And so that was the side that was pushing the violence. And ultimately, what is Krishna's mission? That's part of his mission, right? Paratanaya sadhanam vinashaya chadushkritam, to destroy the overburdening of the world with all of the demons. And then he makes the point, hey, nobody's dying here. Jayate mete vakadachan. But in order to restore Dharma, we have to clear away all of these demons that have come on. That's how the Krishna book begins, you remember? Mm-hmm. Mother Bhumi is distressed, the world is overburdened by all these demons. Mm-hmm. So there is a point where violence is necessary. And even you'll find these great kings, they have to do that, Parikshit and Yudhishthira, and the others. So it's, yes, ahimsa is there in the Bhagavad Gita, several times mentioned as a foundational principle, but not at the cost of compromising religion and dharma, and the good. And so ultimately, therefore, it comes to and they're all blessed. If you understand the Gita, those who are killed in Krishna's presence, they go to the higher world. Mm-hmm. So it's all auspicious ultimately.
Thank you. Do you have something? So yeah, those are good points. I was also thinking about how it's there's a nature that you can't really overcome, your particular nature, guna and varna. And for example, if you are a saintly person and a Brahman, then you can't really be a fighter. Of course, if it's necessary, but ultimately you would never choose that in accordance to your nature. Or if there's a there's an inclination for anger or violence within your guna and varna, then, for example, there's policemen, and they can utilize that in their service to humanity. So it's just a part of nature as well, the living entity. So there's a good points that Kṛṣṇa tried. We were not able to convince her, but they took the book. They took the book. So these are good points mentioned that Kṛṣṇa tried stopping the war, but when all good arguments fail, what to do? You use violence, and that violence is already used. And besides, there's ultimate good for everyone at the end. That's the reason why Kṛṣṇa comes to this material world. And Sukanta was also mentioning that at this point of a very difficult situation, great changes take place like that. So yeah, we weren't able to convince her, but we mentioned some of these points, and she was just not agreeing. And I was thinking that if you're not following four regulative principles, if you have no desire to really understand and hear, if you're just in denial, then how can you, even if you present good arguments, no one will accept them. But surprisingly, what happened at the end, her husband walked out of Costco, and he was Western. She's from Bengal, and the husband is American, and he studied religious teachings at the university. And so he saw us, and he goes, "Oh, you guys are from ISKCON." And, "Oh, I love you guys." and we were trying to give her a Kṛṣṇa book. And he took that Kṛṣṇa book, and then at the end they gave a donation. Just thinking as, huh? Yeah, he used to come. He might come again. He wanted to, like that. So, and I'll just conclude with Sharna. I'll take the questions just after this little story. I had a really funny encounter. I think it's funny, so maybe you'll appreciate it. I was also at Costco when the devotees from ISV were here with us, distributing books, and I approached a person in a blue Tesla. And I came to him and I said, "Prabhu, please take this wonderful books, Bhagavad Gita, Kṛṣṇa book." And he goes, "No, I don't need these books." I said, "Prabhu, please take them." No, I don't need this book. And I said, "Prabhu, can you at least say Hare Krishna? Can you wish me well and say Hare Krishna?" No, I'm not going to say Hare Krishna. "Prabhu, please say Hare Krishna." Yeah, I'm saying like that. He said, "No, I'm not going to say Hare Krishna." "Prabhu, can you at least say Tesla?" He goes, Tesla. So he wouldn't say Hare Krishna, but he chanted Tesla. So I thought it was funny. And then another person was also in the car, and also Indian person, and I don't think Tesla, but some other car, but doesn't really matter. So he was watching a football game and smoking an electronic cigarette. So what do you need? And I approached him after the books, and he said no, but at the end he was feeling maybe a little ashamed, so he gave a donation like that. So yeah, you never know who you're going to meet in various circumstances out there. So thank you for your attention. We'll conclude here, and maybe there's comments. Okay.
That, not in the Sanskrit, this is the 22nd Avenue. He concluded a lecture by saying, and the Guru is supposed to be worshipped as God. And then he went upstairs, and everyone's mind was blown, as they said, I think Prabhupada was so adamant all this time, and so many times we heard that, only God is God, and the Guru is... And so they asked Kirtananda, he was senior, and they said, "Why don't you go ask him?" But he went, "Okay." So they went upstairs. And it was just like an editorial thing, But when you say worshipped as God, meant to be worshipped as you would worship God, you see. But if you say worshipped as God, means you worship him as if he is God. So that was cleared up early on like that, because that's an essential part of the song, Sakshat Haridvena Samasta Shastra. And so then they were, and then I think that was before the first initiation, and so everyone was reconciled and they took initiation and everything went well. So you have to be careful how you put things.
Mm-hmm. It's like it's like training for us to get this resembling relationship with Krishna, with Guru, to be trained. It's a kind of like a model, or what do you, like that, our relationship with the spiritual master here on this planet, like that. So we can properly learn how to the etiquette and how to associate with someone who is so dear to Krishna. Like that. Any other questions or comments? Maybe someone has one question that they'd like to ask. Anyone online? Okay. Thank you so much for your attention. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Samveda Bhaktivinda ki jai, Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai.